Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the review of the Book of Boba Fett. This one being called The Return of the Mandalorian. As you can tell by the title, it is mostly going to contain stuff from the Mandalorian. I guess Boba Fett decided to take a little break this episode and let Mando have a show for a bit. It's a freezer to butcher shop. Meat kind of hanging up everywhere. We got a doorway, plastic flaps. That's all you see. Mando walks through the door, and his theme plays. You see him looking around as if he's searching for someone special, almost like he's, gonna collect a bounty, which bounty hunters do. He eventually goes into the back where he sees a Clutonian at a desk that is covered in credits. Mando walks up and says he's looking for a character called Kaiba Biaz. The Clutonian at the desk, which is most likely him, asks how he knows that he's even here. Mando pulls out his tracker and shows the holo with Kaiba's face on it. And of course, he admits to being Kaba, and he buys him, and he's like, "Ooh, I'll give you all the credit you want." Mando says this line, and I actually like this line for this character. I think it works. It kind of gives me chills every time I hear it. "I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold." Awesome line, love it. Kaba's guards attack Mando, and he pulls out the dark saber. Mando's making quick work of the guards, but he injures himself in the process, hits himself in the leg. Seems like he's still kind of getting used to it. The saber seems a little heavy almost with how slow he's moving it. He ends up killing Kaba Biaz, cuts off his head, leaves limping and wounded. As he leaves, we pan out to a giant ring structure called Glavis, is what I found to what it was called. The space station essentially looks like a giant floating ring in space. A lot of people are saying they got the idea for this ring like Space Station from Halo. I mean, it does kind of look like the Halo from the games, but it actually looks and feels more like something out of the book called Ringworld by Larry Nivens, written in 1970. George Lucas is known for taking a lot of inspiration from other medias and kind of placing them into Star Wars. So it's not surprising he got inspiration from this. But it literally looks just like something you'd get out of Ringworld. Anyway, Mando's limping his way through the city to collect a bounty on Kaiba Biaz. Not before he arrives to the bar that he's going to, we get this really awkward elevator ride gag. Again, we just don't need humor in situations like this. Not everything needs to be an MCU Marvel movie. Ugh, I digress. Mando gets into the bar. He approaches the table of a group of really diverse aliens and humanoids alike. The one he walks up to is a blue Ishitib. Again, if my pronunciation is incorrect, I'm sorry. And she's clearly the client. Mando asks for his credits for the bounty that he just got, and more importantly, the information he was promised. The Ishitib wants him to sit, eat, drink, and be merry and just enjoy the party and celebration of capturing the hunt, essentially. Mando just wants the information on where the closest access shaft to the substrata is. He's trying to get down there. She's like, "No, just come hang out, come sit." And he's like, "Well, if you don't tell me what I want, I'll just take this bounty elsewhere." She ends up giving him the info eventually. As he leaves, we do see his actual wound from the dark saber, which is a pretty big gash on his leg, melted skin exposed, all that fun stuff. As he's walking through what looks like a back alleyway, he turns on his helmet sensors and is following symbols that you'd kind of, very Star Wars-esque kind of symbols until he gets to one that looks like the Mythosaur. And the Mythosaur is it's a symbol. It's on Boba Fett's armor. It's the creature with the skull, the two things right. Let's see if you can't see it. Focus. That right there. That's the Mythosaur skull. Symbol you've probably seen a million times in Star Wars. Mando approaches the armor, and due to his weakened and injured state, he collapses before he even gets to her. Another Mandalorian by the name of Paz Visla, sorry, tends to Mando's wounds, and there are only 3 of them left after the attack in the first season. The armor wishes to see the weapon that caused Mando's wounds, which is the Darksaber. Mando shows her the saber, and she asks if he knows the significance of the blade. And all he says is, "Whoever wields it can lead all of Mandalore," which she rebuttals, "if it's won in battle. And if it falls into the hands of someone not through combat, it will usher in a curse onto the nation of Mandalore." We learned the Darksaber was forged by a Mandalorian named Tara Visla, who is a Jedi and a Mandalorian. I'm really curious to look into more of him. Any lore, any history I really love. So yeah, maybe later I'll make a video on this Tara Visla. Mando and Paz end up putting together the new forge for the armor. Mando's just telling how he kind of got the Darksaber by defeating Moff Gideon. Paz does seem a little annoyed that Moff didn't get killed by Mando and just got arrested. Because, he should have killed Moff Gideon in order to get the Darksaber. Next, they start talking about the Beskar spear. Mando explains where he got it. And the armor is just... she's not too thrilled with it because she's like, Beskar can only be used as armor, as a defense, not to be used offensively, which is stupid. Mando gives it to her to forge into a new piece of armor. They don't say what yet, but she starts heating it up, doing the whole forge thing. Then they speak of Bo-Katan, which, again, the armor, she just doesn't like Bo very much. She tells of pretty much once Bo got the Darksaber, not through combat, that the Great Purge pretty much started and how the Empire destroyed everything and called the Night of 1,000 Tears. The armorer asks Mando what he'd like to forge out of the Beskar spear. And Mando says, something for a foundling. Baby Yoda. Blech. Mando wants to see Grogu again, and he wants to give whatever she creates to him. Again, I really wish they would not go back to Grogu, Baby Yoda. I wish they would just focus on the Mandalorian. I think Grogu just distracts everyone from the Mandalorian and anything else, because everyone's just like, oh, I love Baby Yoda. No, I'm over it. So the armor ends up making something. It kind of looks like she's making little chains like you would find in like a chain armor mail shirt. Puts in this little bag, ties it up, and the bag resembles a little Grogu head. Cute, not. After that's done, the armor starts training Mando on how to use the Darksaber. Like I said earlier, the Darksaber seems to be a little too heavy for him. He's really struggling to swing it, and it's just overpowering for him. As that's happening, you see Paz, the other Mandalorian, come kind of out of the shadows. Not shadows, but just out of the back. And he's suggesting that, maybe the Darksaber doesn't belong to Mando. Maybe it belongs in someone else's hands. Since the Mandalorian that created it was Tara Visla, is an ancestor of Paz Vizsla. See? Names. Haha. And he thinks he should be wielding it instead. Paz challenges Mando to a combat. They battle. Mando does end up winning, and as soon as he does, the armor comes over and asks them both, have they ever removed their helmet? Mando has, and of course Paz says he has not. And so because of this, Mando is kicked out of their little ragtag trio, but not before asking if he can redeem himself in any way. The armor is saying, the only way is in the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore. Which is probably going to be the entire plot of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, is him trying to get his redemption. Alright, so he leaves the armor, takes a commercial cruiser, kind of like, one that everyone has to use, citizens have to use. They make him check his bag, essentially all of his weapons. Guess where they go? That's right. Back to Tatooine. I'm really starting to dislike Tatooine. It just seems like it's the only place in the universe. It's kind of, I want more. Please give me more. Just a little. Just another planet or 12. That'd be great. So he goes back to Tatooine. We go to a shot of a BD droid appearing on screen. If you don't remember BD, one is a droid that becomes Cal Kestis. God, I'm so bad with names. companion in the Jedi Fallen Order game. Fun game. I suggest playing it. I had a good time with it. The BD droid gets attacked by a Womp Rat, and pan out on the shot. We're back in the shop of Peli Mato. She was the kind of smaller woman, nasally voice. I'm not a fan of this character at all. It's something about the way these characters sound when they talk that it can really pull me out of the Star Wars universe. I don't know why it does it for me, but meh. She's trying to kill the Womp Rat to save the BD droid, and she ends up getting attacked by the Womp Rat. And another just out of place kind of comedy skit, just like, oh my god, I'm being attacked, kind of getting pulled off screen. I don't think it belongs in Star Wars, but I'm an old salt. So Mando ends up shooting the Womp Rat off of her, and the reason he's there is because she was actually supposed to find a replacement for the Razor Crest. And I'm glad she did not find another Razor Crest, because I don't like that ship either. She finds another member berry. There's a lot of member berries in this specific episode, and the reason I don't like member berries in writing is because it's playing on nostalgia, not good writing. So I find it just very lazy. You're just putting in things that people already know of, and they don't have to really think about it. Like, oh, I recognize that Naboo Starfighter. And, and that's the ship she did find for him, was a Naboo Starfighter. They do a montage of little fixing the ship, just yeah. Another goes to an alien bird doing a little cock-a-doodle-doo, like a rooster. Bugged me too. One thing I will admit, the Naboo Starfighter did look pretty cool when it was all done. It was all chromed out, had a little engine coming out of the top, and I don't know. I thought that did look pretty cool. They did take out the spot for the astromech droid, which $20, I'm just going to put down money now. I bet Grogu is going to end up in there. Mando ends up taking it out for a test drive. And if you notice when he's driving through the same course as the Boonta Eve. At some point, I swear to God, I thought Fett was going to be like,
now this is pod racing.
As he's driving through, he goes off the same ramp that shot Anakin kind of into the air during the Boonta Eve race, but he goes up and into space. He's flying around. He's going a little quick past all these commercial ships, which a couple of X-Wing, I guess they're like cops, police of like the sky or whatever. They end up trying to pull him over, saying that he's flying a little too fast next to these ships. The one pilot named Carson Teva, which you probably will recognize from the Mandalorian. I think it's chapter 10, the passenger. It's the one with the lizard, or the little like frog in her eggs. But he's one of the X-Wing pilots again, and you have a rookie who's trying to be all just by the book cop, being like, nope, we got to take you in no matter what, blah, blah, blah. Carson Teva kind of recognizes Mando's voice, ends up letting him go. Lands back on Tatooine and says, Wizard, which we've heard that in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, before. I'm assuming it means slang for like cool, badass. As he gets out, Fennec Shand is there to hire him to help Boba Fett in his upcoming war, and that's where it ends up. This episode was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. You'll probably recognize that name as she was Claire from Jurassic World. A lot of people are actually saying she did a really good job with this episode. I did like the part where Mando was, on the ring and stuff. I thought that was really well done. It looked really cool. When they got to Tatooine, not so much. A whole lot of member berries, stuff like that. But they actually want a Bryce to direct her own trilogy. And I don't know. We'll see if that happens. Thanks so much for listening. If you guys will like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, that'd be great. Comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.